Hey everybody, Andy Brady here, and gonna do a little bit of a throwback of something I used to do, review technology kind of gadgets and things. But I specifically want to talk about flashlights because there's a lot of really awesome flashlights out there today. And I'd like to just kind of have a quick chat about what's available, what's not available, because I can promise you when it says 1,000 lumens on Amazon, it's almost exclusively incorrect. There's some amazing YouTube channels out there where they test the lumens to verify, is it actually as bright? Does it have the cantilever, does it have the candle power that it claims to have? And the total lumens that it has, and even the distance that it goes. But I really want to talk about it more from a just you and me having a chit chat, real world examples. So many years ago, I bought a Orchid Torch T30 flashlight. Uses an 18650 battery. It is 1,000 lumens. That was obviously not on brightness. Uses 1,000 lumens and has its own little proprietary 5-volt charger on the side that takes ages to actually charge it, so I use an external charger for it. And I use this every single day for work and have for about the last 7 years, and it has consistently outperformed everything else. Problem is you can't buy them anymore. So Orchid Torch primarily makes underwater flashlights, things like that. So hate to tell you guys about an amazing flashlight that you can't get. But to the point, I have many employees of mine that need a flashlight very similar to this, and since I can't get it anymore, I get to use that as an excuse to constantly keep buying new flashlights for me to test, for them to test, to see what works for what we need to do. So, quick thing about Orchid Torch, they had a really neat designed product that we ended up not using just because it ended up being a bit too hefty, that actually had a wireless charging dock that it would set in your nightstand. And what was really neat about this device is if the power went out, or if you pulled the flashlight out of the dock, it would automatically go into one lumen mode. So it basically go into a nightlight mode. With a 5,000 milliamp hour battery in here, I believe it is, the battery on it would last just forever in that mode. So if you got a power outage, it cuts on automatically. You pull it out to take it with you, it cuts on automatically to one lumen. One click of the button, it goes to full brightness, and you're ready to go if there was, an emergency in your house, somebody in your house, whatever it might be. The reason I mentioned this one is because my charging dock got destroyed. No fault of them, 100% fault of my own. Reached out to Orchid Torch to say, hey, you guys don't make this flashlight anymore. What could I possibly do about getting one of these? Because I didn't want to buy an external charger. And they sent me up with a company called Brinyte, Brinyte. And they actually sent me this one free of charge. I reached out to them and just asked for the docking station. And they said, hey, if you'll write a review for us on Amazon, good or bad, whatever, we'll send you the whole new unit because we don't sell just the docking station. I have played around with this a ton. I use this docking station now to charge my original Orchid Torch and this new brand. And they've both been great. And I'm not saying that because they sent me a free unit. I already wrote my review on Amazon that they asked for. But the device exists, and it's a really neat thing to have on a nightstand. It's nice and large, so it might not be what you want to put in your pocket every single day, but with a ridiculously long battery life, an automatic one lumen night mode, the wireless charging is great. I'm going to complain about this a lot today. It does use micro USB, which in my opinion just shouldn't even exist on any modern technology anymore. Micro USB should have been replaced with USB-C by everything by now. But anyway, I digress. Definitely something worth looking into. Not a pocket-friendly flashlight, but definitely the first one that I wanted to mention since I had already mentioned Orchid Torch. So let's talk about small flashlights, something you might keep in your pocket all the time, anytime. And first we get to the Coast XP6R, right? Pretty bright flashlight, very small. It has the standard Coast where you twist it and then it extends and twists back so you can change the focus distance on it, which is not a bad way to do it. It is very slim, very small. It does use a proprietary battery, something I'm not super excited about, but the battery has a charger built into the battery, which is becoming more and more common on the batteries nowadays. But again, I'm going to complain about it. Micro USB. I mean, this should have left with the BlackBerry curve. All right, so that is a hesitation for me, but this is a great thing to be able to throw in the console of your truck, to be able to have in a tool bag as a backup flashlight. It is much brighter than some of the other very small flashlights that I've tried out. Definitely one to note, definitely one to see. I'll put links to all these on the description here, and just a heads up, if it's a link to Amazon, I do make a commission on it, but me making a couple bucks on a flashlight is not why I'm recommending these. This is my personal collection of flashlights, so these are things I actually truly love, truly believe in, and that's why I'm making that recommendation. But I do want to let you know, if you want to support the channel beyond liking and subscribing, purchase using the links below, or at least click the links below. That way if you end up buying it one day, maybe. So I've got another Coast product here that I want to talk about, is their inspection light. It is 100 lumens, which for its size is not terrible, but it's not great. It is a very static beam. You can see it right there on my light. It is very outlined, very defined. It uses 2 AAA batteries. I believe I'll have to open it up and double check. But one of the nice things about this, 2 AAA batteries. But one of the nice things about this is that it has multiple modes. It is magnetic on the side, and when you click it once, it takes the light down below. Click it again, it has a beam built into the side, which the clip right here is magnetic. So if you were to magnetize it somewhere, you would have that beam. Click it again. There you go, and it goes to red. And again, it's the opposite side of the magnet. So I like to use this whenever I'm camping, especially having the magnet on there. Something a lot of people don't think about with a flashlight is if you have a small, very, very small metal disc, the size of a quarter, for example, you can actually go on the outside of your tent, hold the magnetic disc, and stick this on the inside of a tent. So now this little light array, whether it be being used in red or white, lights up the entire tent, lights up the entire environment, becomes a very good camping flashlight because it's so lightweight. I don't like that it uses AAA batteries. I'd much prefer to use rechargeable batteries. Just plug it in at night, same as my cell phone, and go from there. But again, not a bad one to have in your toolbox, especially for the cost. Does not have a long light throw, but it's definitely something worth keeping around. It's not one to throw away, that is for sure. So that brings me to yet another Coast that has been for quite a while my go-to, leave it in my pocket and use it all the time. And it is the HP3R. It is extremely small. I believe it is 375 lumens with a high mode and a low mode, which I believe is 30 lumens, somewhere around in there. Not very bright. This thing is extremely small, extremely compact. The top unscrews to unveil a waterproofed-in charging port, which, thank God, it is USB-C, just like every other device on Earth now. I mean, even my kids' toys, even trash toys, throwaway toys, everything's USB-C now. So it's good to see that on here. It's very slim. It's not a whole lot bigger than the inspection flashlight I just showed you, but it is way more than 3 times as bright. It does have a proprietary battery, but whenever you buy the device, it comes with, well, last time I checked, it came with 2 of these batteries. And it came with an adapter so that you could use AAA batteries if you ever so needed to. And usually the downside to an external battery, an extra battery is you got to swap it out, charge them both, then use them hot swappable. But nope, this, just like the other one, has the charger built in. And what is it? It's USB-C right there. So you can USB-C charge your spare battery. You can USB-C straight in the flashlight your main battery, and it's both good to go, hot swappable with a fresh battery when the time comes. Does not take a really long time to charge. So again, throw it on the charger at night, same time you throw your phone on the charger, and you'll be good to go. I only recently stopped carrying this as my daily driver, just because for my work I need something closer to 1,000 lumens. I do inspections. I'm an indoor air quality expert, and I do home inspections, specifically looking for molds, yeast, funguses, bacteria, things like that. So I need a much brighter flashlight, but there's 2 other tools that I carry every single day, one of which is a laser. I'd like a nice bright green laser for a couple different reasons. One, to highlight certain areas for pictures, for inspection pictures, for being able to point out something in a very large building from a very large distance to somebody else. But another nice thing is with a bright green laser, you can see the dust in the air. So whenever you're talking about somebody about indoor air quality, having that laser is nice. And then the last thing that I must carry pretty much every single day is a good UV flashlight. So, I've got one of the green, lasers that you buy, wherever from a flea market or whatever, that uses an 18650 battery. It's ridiculously bright. I do like that device. They're very cheap. I'll put a link to one on Amazon. I do get them for my employees as well. But again, that's carrying a second thing. I also am a strong believer in UV Beast. They make a very good product. It is a UV light that does not really show up, as you can see, until you actually give it something to, to luminesce on. So it's a very high-end, very good light. We use it for inspecting for, let's say, urine stains, other things that might be in somebody's carpet that could be causing some of the odors and stuff. But my point is, I was carrying quite a large UV light. I was carrying a laser pointer that was slightly bigger than my the Coast that I just showed you guys. But now you've got the Olight Arkfeld Pro. And they had a previous Arkfeld, and I owned one of those. I actually gave it to my brother whenever I got this one. But this is a spectacular little device. So it's very slim, but it's kind of wide. So it's almost like carrying, I don't know, 1.5 times the width of the inspection flashlight I just now showed you, but it's also shorter. But it has a has a flashlight, which can go into, very low mode automatically. It can go back to its normal, whatever its recent mode was. It can go to ultra bright, which is over 1,000 lumens, exactly what I need. It also has a built-in green laser. So, that already exists in this same platform. And then you rotate this dial one more time, and now you've got UV as well. And it is not as bright as UV Beast, but essentially I've been able to take one device that's smaller than all 3 other devices that I was carrying, and now I have one that I carry around. Now, downside to the Olight Arkfeld Pro. The metal tends to scratch and show what's underneath. I don't mind that at all, but I am aware of it whenever I put it in my pocket with other things. The nice thing about the clip is it works both ways. It'll clip one way, so deep, really deep into your pocket, almost becomes invisible, or the front clip like this, so you can clip it on maybe a hat band. It's a little bit heavy for a hat band, but maybe it would work for a helmet. Not sure, I've never tried that. It does have their magnetic charger that goes on the back. So we do not have USB-C. Not super thrilled about that, but at least the magnetic charger is nice. Whenever I go to charge my phone, I can just blink and it just sticks to it. And whenever I go to leave in the morning, I just walk away with it and the magnet falls off and stays behind. And it does match other Olight devices that I have with that charger. So it's not a terrible thing, but just keep in mind the battery is not hot swappable. So if you are, like me, using, it on the ultra bright for sometimes hours on end on a job site, you're going to need a backup light. Not always, but maybe if you're going to be using on an ultra bright for multiple hours per day. So that is the one that I am EDC every single day. This is my everyday carry now. It has replaced all the rest of them that I have, which is kind of sad because the Orchid Torch, I've been carrying it for so many years now, and now it is my backup. It's there for if the other one goes dead. It is still a beast, and it still works fantastic. But just the ability to have all 3 in one, and a solid metal housing is very, very nice. Now, the beam is not, there's not a huge cone here to throw the beam very long distances. So that's something to keep in mind as well. If you're looking to light up a room, if you're looking to light up, actually a very large room or a very large campsite, that's fine. But if you're looking to see something 120 yards away, 80 yards away, 100 meters away, whatever measurement system you use, it may not be the device for you. And that takes me to 2 other devices that I use. And again, I've got so many flashlights that, this video could have been 45 minutes long. But I really wanted to talk about the ones that I use on a regular basis. So we're back to Coast. This one is a Coast XP11R. It again has the slide where you can change the focus based on the slide, and you turn it, and it locks, which is a great feature, so that once you get your focus set, it kind of stays there, and then you can still change your focus and lock it, and that's where it stays. This one, for the price, is fantastically bright. One of the things I find is weird, it turns on, the second click it goes brighter, then it starts to go dimmer. So it's not stepping up, it's not stepping down, it starts in the middle, goes up and then down, and then if you hold it down, it goes immediately to full bright. So that's kind of nice as well. It's a very good flashlight. It works very well. It has an extremely long throw. One of the ways that I judge a flashlight is I like to set it up at the top of my property, shine it down, which is about 100 yards away, and see if at that 100-yard point can I read a book. And very few flashlights check that box, yes. The Orchid Torch does, but barely. This one, I can read a book clear as day. Open up the book, the light 100 yards away, and I can read the book just fine. It does have a waterproof seal, unscrewing bottom that exposes a charging port, and again, it is USB-C. So, you know, if you haven't caught on yet, that makes me extremely happy to have that option as well. The battery in this device is not hot swappable. It is not something that you can just immediately swap, at least not that I know of. Now, they use their own proprietary Zithion X ZX1000, 4,000 milliamp hour, 3.7 volts. I mean, it's about as close to being a 18650 as I can imagine, just a little bit bigger, I guess. It does have a battery charger built right onto the battery, which is becoming more and more common. And again, USB-C. Gotta love it. So now that I see that, I guess if I owned another one of these batteries, it would be hot swappable. But I don't love the idea of buying batteries when I already own so many of the 21600s and the 18650s with the external charger that will charge many of those at the same time. So this has become one of my daily use flashlights. It is not my backup one like my Orchid Torch is, but it is still a very viable, very good option for many people. And then the one that I found to be quite a surprise, the Streamlight ProTac 2.0. I actually recently have not been as impressed with Streamlight. It's a little bit beefy. It is definitely bigger than the Orchid Torch that I had before. You know, you can see the Orchid Torch is, let me hold it up there to compare. You know, the Orchid Torch is definitely a lot thinner. So, you know, this one I can tuck into my waistband. Don't even have to put it in a holster and it would stay where it is. This one's a little big for doing that, but it does have the clip built in, which this one did have the clip. I just removed it because I didn't need it. But the light throw on this one has been fantastic. I could write a book at the bottom of the property with this on there. I could read a fine print book. I could do watercolors, you know, like Bob Ross at the bottom of the property with this thing. So while the lumens don't advertise to be much brighter than the coast that I just now showed you, the distance that the light is thrown on this is absolutely fantastic. Let me see here. It charges USB-C, of course. It's almost like that's all I get nowadays. And it does, again, just like the coast, they have done away with just using the same battery as everyone else, and they've got their own, and it is huge. It is a Streamlight, safety protected. You can see that it can charge separately on its own, and it's USB-C, of course. And this one is 4,900 milliamp hours. So it's actually the same milliamp hours, this, you know, almost the same. This one's 5,000 that I showed you to begin with from that Brinyte company. But this one's a little bit weird. It's got, you know, this weird bottom with the exposed, you know, it doesn't have the two sides. It has one side with the exposed copper where the charger is. This all illuminates to let you know that it's charged or not charged. All in all, I'm not super thrilled with the battery situation here. I'd like to see a universal battery. I'd like to see it be able to use an 18650 or a 21600, but I do not regret this purchase at all. I'm not ready to buy more batteries for it yet, but as of now, this is the one that you know, sits safety for me. This is the one that sits next to the nightstand. The one with the built-in light actually sits next to my wife's nightstand. I'm more likely to get it up and turn it on correctly, because I practice these things. This one also would be the one that would go in my tactical bag if I were to be packing a tactical bag to go with me. So there you have it, a long list of flashlights that are available, with the clear winner, in my opinion, of the year of flashlights being the Olight Arkfeld Pro. The thing's just amazing, works just so well, and the ability to have 3 devices in one. I mean, even if you're just going to use the laser to mess with your cat, it's still nice to have it on there. The flashlight can actually be used at the same time as the laser. That's something I forgot to mention as well, that it will actually leave the laser on whenever you switch to the flashlight. Not that there's necessarily, in my opinion, a lot of use for that, but it is kind of neat. And then just having that UV light. Again, if all you're going to do is charge the stars on the ceiling in your kid's room, just having that flashlight that's the same size or smaller than the flashlight you were carrying before, and it can do that and also be an amazing flashlight as well. I think this is definitely our winner here. Again, not sponsored by any of these companies. I wish. I don't have enough subscribers. Maybe you can change that. Like and subscribe. With the exception of this flashlight being sent to me for free, because I tried to order a new charging base. But I would definitely say this is just my year in review of flashlights, really. And, if you're thinking about any of these flashlights, depending on your specific use, you could probably use them all. Just as I claim that I need every single one of them. So hopefully this video was helpful, kind of gave you guys an idea of what some of the things that are available out there. Of course, there are hundreds more options. I don't have my Fenix with me, but I don't typically carry my Fenix anymore. It's kind of been replaced by all of these, but they make fantastic flashlights as well. Maybe I'll have a video in the future to have some 2024 options as I keep buying more and more flashlights, trying to find a replacement for my one and original love, the Orchid Torch T30. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you another day. Have a good one.